Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program. Today, it is Top 5 Tuesday here for this 24th of August. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're doing all right out there. We are live from the Hall Around Town Radio studios here in beautiful downtown Springboro, Ohio. And I hope you're all doing well. Let me see who's in here. Scotty Long checking in. Steve Downey checking in as well. Yeah, we're going to talk about Charlie Watts today. We are. It is Top 5 Tuesday, and in honor of Charlie Watts' life, drummer of the Rolling Stones, who passed away today, we're going to bring you the best Rolling Stones songs of all time. We're going to look for your input here in just a little bit. We'll get to some items about Charlie Watts in just a moment, but we appreciate you being here, guys, and stopping by the program, and welcome on a Tuesday. How is everyone today? You guys doing all right out there? We got to get the live numbers up. Let's hit that share button, if you will, and get those live numbers rocking and a-rolling today if we can. Little minute or so late getting started, so that sometimes slows it down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Hi, Gary. Thanks for dropping in today. Good to have you with us. And while we're getting ready, let me talk about a few other things. If you missed our weekend update yesterday, we talked about a lot of great music and had a lot of folks write into the show and contribute to the music that they saw over the weekend, and a lot of things going on. It's been crazy. Crazy out there with all the music, and it's hard to get to everything. It really is. Thanks. If you're out there, guys, make a comment. Let me know you're in the house, and we'll be again, like I said, we're bringing you Top 5 Tuesday. Today is going to be your favorite Rolling Stones songs in honor of Charlie Watts passing, and we'll get to that, like I said, in just a moment as soon as we get a few housekeeping items done. Don't forget also coming your way on Wednesday. It's Wednesday with the band. And then Thursday, we will bring you Who's Playing Out, brought to you by Froggies in Monroe, Ohio. And that's going on as well. So thanks for dropping by, Julie. Thank you, Gary. Yep. Can't get no satisfaction. No, sir. So if you're out there again, guys, make a comment. Man, we are slow to get notifications going out. I did not get a notification that we went live. And, you know, I'm the guy that goes live, so I don't know. Hi, Dave Shores. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Heard you had another banner show at the Stubbs Park. Had somebody write in yesterday and said they had a great time with the Journey tribute band that you had there. And that's always good to hear. So perfect stuff. And again, guys, let me get started. It is time. We'll get it going despite the lack thereof of live viewers today, but we hopefully it'll pick up, and if not, then maybe they'll watch it after the fact. And I will say, for those of you that are tuning in and are part of our programming, especially on Thursdays when we bring you Who's Playing Out, you know, we get about 2,000 to 3,000 views on that show, and we appreciate that very much. We appreciate all the shares, but if the musicians that we talk about would share it on their page, it would just blow it up. So I'm going to say that again. I say it all the time, but we'd appreciate it if you'd share it. We're talking about you, so share it on your page, you know. Party Town in the house. Thank you for being here today. Jimmy Kilroy has joined us. Is it okay if I call you Jimmy? Jimmy? And Bill Burley. How you doing, Bill? Gosh, I haven't seen you in ages, man. I hope you're doing all right. Good Bill Burley. He plays some great music, folks. He's got some wonderful originals, does a lot of covers. Good guy. Thank you, Jim Kilroy, for that contribution to Brown Sugar. We're going to call for your favorite Rolling Stones songs here in a little bit. But let me talk about Charlie Watts for a minute. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what happened today, this morning about 11:30 or so, uh, it hit the media that Charlie Watts passed away at the age of 80, Rolling Stones drummer for many, 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 many years. And certainly they released his spokesperson released a statement that says it's with immense sadness that we announce the death of our beloved Charlie Watts, passed away peacefully in a London hospital earlier today, surrounded by his family. Said Charlie was a cherished husband, father, and grandfather, and also a member of the Rolling Stones, one of the greatest drummers of his generation. They kindly request the privacy of his family, band members, and close friends should be respected at this difficult time. And that was the statement kind of from the Charlie Watts camp that came out today. And, you know, it's funny because Charlie Watts, when you talk about drummers in music, there's not a lot of people who just absolutely jump out there and say, Charlie Watts is that flamboyant, flashy, drummer. Never the most flashy drummer. Wasn't known for frenzied solos. Nothing like that. He was, wasn't even known for playing, explosive kick drum beats and all that like Keith Moon did. Instead, he was just kind of a subtle guy, the kind of heartbeat of the Rolling Stones for almost 60 years. Now, Charlie Watts was a jazz player, and he brought jazz into almost every tune they did, even when they did "Miss You," the disco song, and all that. It still had a Charlie Watts jazz flair to it, and that's one thing I think that made the Stones so successful over the years was that he was just one of those guys he was a steady drummer, man, and he didn't overplay, he didn't underplay. He just played what he thought was the right drum line, and really, really cool stuff. And Charlie Watts, oftentimes underrated, I think, because so many, so many people use Charlie Watts drum beats and lines. Even the early days of rap music, there you can hear a lot of Charlie Watts in those songs, and very interesting. He was obviously at his best playing songs like Honky Tonk Woman or Gimme Shelter. He did do some a few fills that were a little uncharacteristic for him in those songs, but he let loose every once in a while. But most folks will tell you that if you read about him and you've followed the Stones over the years and those kind of things, Charlie Watts on and off the stage was very reserved. He wasn't the party animal like some of them were and all that. He was kind of in the shadows of the band and let the rest of the band do that party thing and suck up the limelight and all those things. Um, you know, he in an interview, and I grabbed a quote from an interview. It was back in the 90s. He said, "I've never been interested in all that stuff, and I'm still not," he told the San Diego Tribune back in 1991. He says, "I don't know what showbiz is. I never watched MTV. There are people who just play instruments, and I'm pleased to know that I'm one of them." And it kind of sums it all up right there for Charlie Watts, man. He was an incredible drummer, and it's a huge loss in rock and roll music today by losing him. And very, very strange stuff going on right now. We're losing a lot of people, and nobody ever said why he died. I don't want to get into that. That's not my business, actually. It's just that we're losing so many people, and that, our rock and roll community is aging, and they are. I mean, Charlie Watts was 80 years old, and that's tough to see. And just the fact that Don Everly of the Everly Brothers just passed away. I mean, all those folks that we idolized when we were all younger and loved have passed on. And Charlie Watts was one of those, which, again, one of the greatest drummers of his generation, and probably will be immortalized for that. And again, not flashy at all, not the Keith Moon, not the Tommy Lee upside down drumming or anything. He was just a steady jazz drummer, and he brought jazz to the Rolling Stones and taught those guys that. And that was the cool part about it. So on Top 5 Tuesday today, we are going to bring you the best Rolling Stone songs of all time. And I want to hear from you guys, and I want to know what you think. Throw them out there, if you will. Hi, Dave Wade. Great to see you over the weekend, my friend. And yeah, what was that? I love the story that Jagger called Charlie his drummer, and Charlie said no, Mick was his lead singer. Yeah, there's more to that story too. That apparently Mick called him and said, "I need my drummer here" or something, and Charlie Watts got dressed and put on his suit and tie and went down and punched Mick in the mouth and said, "No, you're my lead singer." So that's kind of interesting as well. But funny, I'm sure there's crazy magic that went on with those guys over the years and things that went on backstage and all that. And yeah, Keith Richards will live past all of us. I'm a firm believer in that. Somebody embalmed him years ago. He just forgot to die. Is that rude? It's not. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, that's kind of. I mean, Keith Richards, he is the epitome of living through everything. I mean, he abused his body terribly, and he's still alive. So there are some people that just have the right DNA, I think. And Steve Downey throwing in "Miss You," "Honky Tonk Woman." Yeah, and Black. Are you talking Paint It Black? Probably Steve Downey. But "Miss You." Well, that's an interesting song. "Miss You" is an interesting song because that was where the Rolling Stones realized everything was disco at the time. And they came out with a disco tune that became huge in the disco clubs. I mean, you could play it, the dance floor would be packed. And that's kind of how they rolled, and they morphed into all kinds of things. If you remember Mick doing things with David Bowie, and all the crazy antics of MTV with their videos and things, pretty cool stuff that went on with the Rolling Stones. I'm reading your comments as they come in, guys, and I see "Honky Tonk Woman," great intro, Ted says. "Paint It Black," Catherine sent to us. Gary says Gene Simmons will be 72 tomorrow. Do you ever miss an opportunity, Gary, to throw Gene Simmons out there at us? I don't think you do. But yeah, he's going to be 72 tomorrow. That makes you feel old. It does. And Party Town throwing in "It's Only Rock and Roll." Great Stone song. We're looking for your favorite Rolling Stone songs today. And man, guys, hit that share button. Our live viewership right now is in the tank. I don't know if we didn't get a send out, or maybe I said something that put us in the Facebook doghouse again. It happens. Yeah, because this is very unusual. Numbers are very unusual. But I realize that, Gary. Absolutely. Catherine says versatile band. They really were. Linda throwing in "Satisfaction." But in honor of Charlie Watts today, we're digging deep. I've got my list, and I'm going to go way deep for a little bit in the list and throw some obscure stuff at you as well as we go here. Thank you, Party Town, for the share. And it's funny because the Rolling Stones kind of have a little bit of a near and dear spot in my heart, because back in 1973, I'm trying to. I'm not going to tell you how old I was then. But in 1973, I was a youngster, and my aunt got me the Goat's Head Soup album for Christmas. I don't know if my parents were real happy about that, but my aunt got it for me, and I love that album, and still to this day love that album. Had Angie on it. I mean, all kinds of good stuff on Goat's Head Soup. So, yeah, that was kind of my story about the Stones. I don't have any. I've never met them, never been around them. Only seen him in video. I've never seen him live in concert, so can't talk about that aspect. But Heath Bowling chiming in here today. "Heart of Stone," "Beast of Burden," "Under My Thumb." "Time Is on My Side." "Time Is on My Side" is one of my favorites as well. And "Out of Tears." That's one you don't hear a lot about. There you go. And Party Town says "Shattered" is a great song. A lot of people don't know. Should do be. Yeah. So Star from Goat's Head Soup makes my list at number 35, going deep in it, deep in the list. "She's a Rainbow." I probably should have put that higher, but number 38. on the old list. And as I roll backwards here a little bit, oh my gosh, so many of Voodoo Lounge. Remember that album? Bridges to Babylon. Um, Get Off of My Cloud from 1965. One of the huge classics from the Rolling Stones is number 44 on my list. But got some good stuff. Voodoo Lounge was in 1994. So the Stones have been timeless. Over 1,000 songs I think they've recorded. Craziness there. I don't even know the numbers over that, I think, at this point. But pretty cool group, and definitely iconic group for all of us. So if you're just joining the program today, thank you, Heath Bowling, for that next one. Some Girls was a great album with a cool vinyl cover. Sticky Fingers also was a great cover. And Sticky Fingers had the working zipper on the album cover, if you remember that, on the pants. And that was actually done. The album cover was done by Andy Warhol. So some interesting fun facts on that one. Give Me Shelter, Bonnie throwing in there. Can You Hear Me Knocking is a phenomenal song. Heath, you're a big Stones fan, aren't you? I know you're a Beatles fan, but I think you're a big Stones fan as well, because you're grabbing some interesting cuts today. Liz likes Dead Flowers and Losing My Touch. She said are two of her favorites. Thank you for that contribution, Mrs. Hall Around Town. That's an interesting picture you have there, too. We took that picture in Alaska. Mrs. Hall Around Town standing in a crab pot, it's called, from the Time Bandit, if you watch Deadliest Catch. So that's kind of cool. Hey, Steve, how are you? Thanks. We're talking about the Stones today. We're talking about the Stones in honor of Charlie Watts and your favorite Stones song. What do we got? Some girls, you could slide their heads on different wigs. Sticky Fingers is cool as well. You own it as well. Got the vinyl with that one with the zipper on the cover. That's kind of cool. Hi, Brad. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you being here. We are talking, and don't forget to share the show, guys, because right now, frankly, the live viewership sucks. Normally, we're at 40 or 50 on this day, and it's kind of the. So please, if you can, share it and keep it in people's minds. There's a lot going on, I know, but keep them out there and keep them watching. And as we help promote local music and the musicians, but today we are talking about the best Rolling Stones songs of all time. And I'm going to roll through some lists here. Party Town throwing Start Me Up. Steve says, yes, a sad day for rock and roll. It is, man. We've been losing too many people. And it really is. And Steve, I was heartbroken for you guys as well when you couldn't play that show this weekend at JD Legends with Brett Michaels. I know how much you enjoyed that the first time you did it. I was there for that one. And sad to see, but I'm glad the boys from Sponge kind of filled in and did a great job. And my friends from Stranger were in there too. So good stuff. What's Heath got to say here? Love the Stones. How can you not? Endless hits, and they've lasted 57 years as a group. Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty amazing that the Stones have been around that long. So let me get to some tracks here that we want to talk about. I was down in the 30s. Let me get up into the 20s a little bit if I can, or thereabouts, and see if there's anything else on my list that's going to strike your fancy. Bonnie says, can I get a witness? And good. I'm glad to hear Brian as well, Steve. I appreciate that info, because your band's had some tough knocks, man. And glad you're out there and playing. Love to hear you guys all the time. And Mad Hatter, man. If you guys are watching today, look them up on Facebook and follow them. Go to one of their shows. You're gonna hear some massive guitar work out of Steve, and you're gonna hear some incredible vocals out of Ronnie, and it's just a great time. Really, 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 really is. Let me keep moving here on my list, though. Angie comes in at number 28, one of my favorite ones there on my list. And I am glad you got to let me know when Kelly's making an appearance, man. We got to get out for that show for sure. Miss Kelly. Yep. Sticky Fingers album had a song on it called Bitch from 1971. That one makes my list at number 27. Sticky Fingers Sway at number 26. Exile on Main Street Rocks Off is number 25 on my list. And who could forget Ruby Tuesday? Ruby Tuesday. You might know what album that was from. That's a good trivia question. Somebody tell me if you know Ruby Tuesday. I know, but we'll let you have a chance to be the winner today. See if we can throw a winner in there somewhere. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So yeah, does anybody know Ruby Tuesday? What album it was on? Because Let's Spend the Night Together was also on that album, and it comes in at number 23. Here's a Heath Bowling fun fact. Wow. Number 4 biggest moment in rock and roll history, and no one thought he'd last that. No, Keith Richards is going to outlast all of us. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. And did you know the song Black Diamond by Kiss was a ripoff song from the Stones' Brown Sugar? I did not. But yeah, there we go. Thank you for that, Catherine. All right, let's see what else we've got. Paint It Black coming your way. Number 22 on my list today. Let me go back to Let's Spend the Night Together and Ruby Tuesday, since there we go. Heath Bowling threw it in there. I was hoping somebody threw it up there. Between the Buttons. All right. You get a complimentary bottle of water. And you know what I have now? I have All Around Town radio keychains. Heath, I owe you a keychain the next time I see you. All right. There it is. Owe you a keychain for that classic answer, Between the Buttons, 1967. Dead Flowers. Liz likes that one. That was my number 21. She'll hate me for that, but that's okay. Number 20, Shine a Light. Getting into the top 20 here. Let's keep going. Can You Hear Me Knocking? Heath, you mentioned that one earlier. That is number 18 from 1971. 1971. Waiting on a Friend, man. 1981 for that one. 1981. Waiting on a Friend hitting the number 17 spot today. Throw them out there if you're out there, guys. Give me a little talking to here. If you have a favorite Rolling Stones song, we'd love to hear it. Throw it at us. All right. Miss You, that disco single that they put out that had a 12-inch cut version that was, if I remember correctly, 11 minutes and something long, and they danced to it in the disco era, all 11 minutes. Yes. And it's one of the best disco songs of all time. Yeah. That's nuts. It might be the hookiest hook they ever wrote. It really is. And Let's Spend the Night Together, Bonnie is saying, is that the album? Well, no, it was Between the Buttons, but Let's Spend the Night Together was on that album. It was. Happy is my number 15. And here's one that I probably should have rated a little higher, but didn't. Can't Always Get What You Want. Let It Bleed album, number 14 on the list today. Beast of Burden comes in from Some Girls. I love that album. Some Girls was a great album. And that it was 1978, I think, on that one that it came out. Yes. Beast of Burden at number 13. It's only rock and roll, but I like it. Number 12 on the list today from Sticky Fingers, Wild Horses. That's another classic Stones tune. That's at number 11 on my list today. What do we got here? Gary's got to throw a Kiss reference in again. Keith and Mick wrote the song 2000 Man, sung by Ace Frehley back in 1979. Gary, you're a wealth of Kiss knowledge. That's all I can say. A wealth. How about Tumbling Dice coming in at number 10? You like that one? That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know. How about Get Your Yah-Yahs Out, the album? 1970, Midnight Rambler coming in at number 9 for me today. What's up, Jerry? We're talking about the best Rolling Stone songs of all time today in honor of Charlie Watts passing. So if you have it, I love Wild Horses too there, Chris and Kenny. That's another favorite of mine. I love it. So those of you playing music trivia tomorrow night with me may look for some Everly Brothers or Stone songs in the mix. You just might want to look at that. Brown Sugar hitting the number 8. 8. And there you go, Gary. Heath's commenting on your Kiss comment. Throw that one up there. Number 8 from Sticky Fingers, Brown Sugar, hitting it up. How about Jumpin' Jack Flash? 1968 on that one. Jumpin' Jack Flash. How about that one at number 7? Number 6, I ranked it a little lower than I probably should have, but Honky Tonk Woman coming in at number 6 from 1969. Give me some cowbell, Charlie Watts. All right, who's ready for the top 5? Are you ready? I'm ready for the top 5. I'm ready to get this done. Yes. And the top 5 Rolling Stones songs on my list. Number 5 comes from Beggar's Banquet in 1968. It's Street Fighting Man. And you may say, wow, why would he pick that? I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Start Me Up comes in at number 4. Tattoo You album in 1981. Going back to 1968 with the Beggar's Banquet album. And 1968, number 3 is going to be Sympathy for the Devil. It is. I like Time Is on My Side, Mark Davis. It's just not in my top list. Yes. Because it's Scott's list. Thank you, Steve. You're awesome. You're awesome. All right. The number 2 on my list. And you can have your own list. You can put it right in the comments if you want. Right in the comment. Here, let me point at the camera. Right in the comments, right there. Throw it in there if you can. If you have a list, I'd love to see it. Number 2 for me, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. That's from 1965, Out of Our Heads album. Think of how many albums they've had. Wow. Isn't that crazy? You shouted out, who killed the Kennedys? Heath Bowling. Heath Bowling. All right. Who wants to know my number 1? You may think this is crazy. You might think it's crazy. You might like it. I don't know. So do we have a winner? Let's get to the winner.
And the winner is...
Man, it sounds like a commercial for butter or something, or margarine. All right. Number 1 for me from 1969, the Let It Bleed album. It's Gimme Shelter. That's my number 1 Rolling Stones tune. Hope you liked it. If you didn't, throw it in there. I know what you're saying, Heath. I'm just shaking my head at how well you know these guys and what's going on with the Rolling Stones in your head. If I were doing Beatles, you'd be all over it too. But let's hope Sir Paul McCartney doesn't pass away. We don't want that to happen at all. No, because he's one of the remaining Beatles that's actually got talent. Did I say that out loud? I did. There were all kinds of Twitter things that happened today, and all kinds of people commenting on the loss, certainly, of Charlie Watts. And it's and Dewey says that's his number 1. Thank you, Dewey, for that. Jimmy Kilroy saying thank you, Jim. Yes, background vocals on that song are amazing. Yes, sir, Ted Martin. And Hot Rock's album was one of their best hits. Yeah. Thank you for that one, Mark Davis. All right, I'm getting a good pick. And what else do I have here? What do we got here? Catherine loves the Beatles. Thank you, Catherine. You and Heath will get along well. Heath, Catherine, Heath. Heath knows my Beatles stance. Yes, Steve's in the Beatles camp. But yeah, I mean, this is a great reminder of how many songs that were hits that the Rolling Stones had, and just a massive amount of catalog, and really really cool stuff. And I'm trying to see if I can get one more thing to happen here. I had some very interesting. Let me see if it'll come up or not. Let's look. Calling something up here. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. Yeah. So yeah, today many people chiming in on the passing of Charlie Watts, including people like Lenny Kravitz, who says the beat of the Stones. There are no words. Every groove has spoken for itself. That was from Lenny Kravitz. John Fogerty said the first time the Rolling Stones, I saw them in 1966 in the Bay Area. I've been a fan ever since. Charlie Watts was one of the great drummers we missed. That was from certainly John Fogerty. Debbie Harry of Blondie, she just posted a picture of Charlie Watts. So did The Who, with no words. And Brian Wilson, shocked to hear about Charlie Watts. Don't know what to say. Feel terrible for Charlie's family. And Paul McCartney did a video. And if you haven't watched the video, I mean, Paul looks absolutely shaken by the whole thing. I mean, and he looks rough. I mean, it's like he sat down to do a video when somebody called him and woke him up and said Charlie Watts passed away, and he sat and did a video immediately because, I mean, he's unshaven, his hair is a mess, and yeah, bad stuff. But Sheryl Crow, a hero's gone, no words, a huge gaping hole in the universe. And man, there were so many more. One thing I saw, Joan Jett commented. She said, he never overplayed, never underplayed. Truly one of the greats. Just it goes on and on and on with a list of who's who in music. Stephen Stills, and gosh, so many people. So Charlie Watts passing today at the age of 80. We're losing our musical icons. Thank you guys for watching today. We'll be back with Wednesday with the band tomorrow. Join us for that. Watch for it on our page. And if you have a band that you'd like to have on Wednesday with the band or be featured and talk about their music or what they're doing, where they're playing, all those things, please have them check in with us. Send us a message, and we'll be glad to get them in our schedule and love to have new talent out there and people on to introduce them to the music community. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Heath Bowling, you got something going tonight, I think, down at Franklin Tavern, I believe, aren't you? I think I saw that today. So please, if you're down in Franklin, Ohio, that way, support Heath. Stop in there and do it. If you were a trivia player with us, I will tell you that there is no trivia at Mr. Burroughs Tavern tonight because open mic 8 to 11 at Franklin Tavern. Thank you for that, Heath. Because they have a big Queen of Hearts drawing. Nobody has hit yet. It's going to be like almost $300,000 tomorrow night. And last week it was a virtual, can I say shit show? Trying to have trivia and all the people coming in to buy tickets for that. So we elected jointly this week just to take a pass on it because our trivia players aren't even able to get a seat because of all the people coming in, and they'll drink a beer, fill out some tickets, and then move on. And then a whole new crop of people come in. So we'll get back to that. If somebody hits it tonight, we'll be back next week. If not, then it'll have more hype than ever. And we'll get back to trivia at Mr. Burroughs Tavern as soon as that contest drops down to a manageable minimum. And even if somebody's not there and they win, it's half of it. So it'll start at 150,000. So it's still going to go on being crazy there at Mr. Burroughs Tavern. So we'll see you back there as soon as possible. We will be at Heather's on Wednesday night and love to see you there for Name That Tune trivia. Hint, hint, you're probably going to hear some Stones tunes somewhere in there, and you're probably going to hear some Everly Brothers tunes, and that we always try to pay tribute to the artists we've lost. So thanks for watching today, guys. We're going to get out of here, and until then, have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed yourself today. We'll catch you next time right here at All Around Town Radio. Until then, get out and support live local music and the venues that bring it to you.